Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul. His attorney tells CNN that he is currently being processed. The charges are unclear as of this moment.
Sean Diddy Combs is expected to return to court. The music mogul is facing federal charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. Combs has been in a New York City jail since last month when his request for bond was denied twice.
Diddy is here in New York, in Manhattan. He apparently came here in anticipation that something like this might happen.
He had AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, taped phone calls.
Yep.
And when you put all of that together, that's, a max of 20 years to life.
Diddy, once a titan of the music industry, now sits in a cell at the Metropolitan Detention Center. How did the man who shaped hip-hop culture end up behind bars, and what role did Jay-Z allegedly play in his downfall? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. While the industry speculates about high-level betrayals, Diddy faces a grim new reality. From private jets to suicide watch in a notoriously violent detention center.
Were you surprised at how extensive and disturbing the charges were, or did it feel par for the course given everything else that he's been accused of?
His attorney said he would plead not guilty.
Right.
To all to everything. And RICO cases or racketeering cases are not that common, but racketeering convictions are very common in the federal government. He orchestrated as a criminal enterprise with underage girls and
in some
commercials and some of age and commercial sex workers traveled across state lines, which is criminal, illegally, raided his homes and found 1,000 vials of lubricant.
Yep, and
they
baby
raided
oil.
his homes and they found narcotics.
What happened to bring this music mogul so low? The details of Diddy's current living conditions reveal a shocking fall from grace that few could have predicted. Sean Diddy Combs, once the epitome of hip-hop success, built an empire that spanned music, fashion, and entertainment. His journey from Harlem to the heights of the music industry was a testament to his ambition and business acumen. Diddy's name became synonymous with luxury, power, and influence in the rap world. He was known for his lavish parties, high-profile relationships, and a net worth that soared into the hundreds of millions. But now, the man who once commanded respect in boardrooms and nightclubs alike finds himself in a place that couldn't be further from his former lifestyle. Diddy is currently held at the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, in New York City.
Sean Combs, meaning they found probable cause that he committed at least one federal crime. Now, as to what happens next, there will be, likely tomorrow or within the next couple days, but usually in the SDNY, you try to do it the next day, there will be an arraignment.
You were a big part of revealing some details about Diddy's conduct in private over the course of the last couple of months.
Sean Combs will appear in court with his lawyers. There are no cameras in federal court. He will be advised of the charges against him, and he will almost certainly enter a not guilty plea, but the key thing to watch for is then we'll have the question of bail.
A facility infamous for its harsh conditions and violent history. This federal jail, the only one of its kind in New York City, has been described by judges as dreadful and has faced numerous issues over the years. The MDC's reputation is so notorious that some judges have begun to reconsider sending nonviolent defendants there. Reports of medical neglect, staffing shortages, and violent incidents paint a grim picture of life inside its walls. In one particularly shocking incident, an inmate was stabbed by MS-13 gang members, highlighting the dangers that lurk within the facility. For Diddy, the contrast between his past and present couldn't be more stark. The man who once enjoyed unlimited access to the finest things in life now finds himself under suicide watch, denied bail due to concerns that he might tamper with witnesses.
The P. Diddy's arrest was last night. His charging documents were unsealed right before we went on air, and they include sex trafficking, transporting to engage in prostitution.
Federal prosecutors generally don't lose these kinds of cases, and this was more disturbing to me. It's only 14 pages, but within the 14 pages, it describes mob-like behavior. We're describing a criminal enterprise that involved trafficking of underage people across state lines to have sex, and they dubbed them freak-offs.
This decision by the authorities underscores the severity of the charges against him and the potential risks he poses if released. The conditions at MDC have been described as hell on earth by some reports, a far cry from the luxurious lifestyle Diddy was accustomed to. In the past 3 years alone, 4 inmates have died by suicide, a statistic that paints a bleak picture of the mental toll the facility takes on its inhabitants. Recent high-profile cases have only added to the MDC's infamy.
When Homeland Security ran up into his house, people would tell you, or people knew that it was just a matter of time that they was going to indict him and bring him in to see the judge, bro. It was just a matter of time. People might not understand. It's difficult when you see a brother that has so much promise become an icon as far as in the music business and stuff that he did, trained him and taught him the music business. It's all about the people who trained and taught him the music business, because Puff wasn't, he wasn't born a monster.
Making it a place feared by even the most hardened criminals. As the investigation into Diddy's alleged crimes deepens, a complex web of accusations and denials emerges. The indictment against the music mogul paints a disturbing picture of manipulation and coercion, with women allegedly forced into participating in what prosecutors call freak-offs. These orchestrated performances, according to the charges, involved threats and violence to ensure compliance. Diddy's attorney, however, presents a starkly different narrative. In a statement defending his client, he claimed that all activities were consensual, asserting it was adults and consensual and everybody who was there wanted to be there. This conflicting account sets the stage for a legal battle that could expose long-hidden secrets of the entertainment industry. Adding fuel to the fire, former associates of Diddy have come forward with their own accusations. Moses Shine Barrow, once part of Diddy's inner circle, now claims the rap mogul destroyed his life. Barrow alleges that Diddy called witnesses to testify against him during a past trial, resulting in his incarceration. "This is someone who destroyed my life," Barrow stated, his words revealing the deep sense of betrayal he feels towards a man he once supported. The scope of the federal investigation is massive, indicating the seriousness with which authorities are treating these allegations.
He was made into a monster from the stuff that happened to him, the things that he had to do. You understand? The things that he had to do to become who he is. You gotta have principles, you gotta have morals, you gotta keep with that stuff. And in that music business, a lot of that stuff get thrown out the window. He was doing the things to other people that was done to him. And it is what it is. You gotta know better. And if you know better, you will do better.
Reports suggest that prosecutors have interviewed over 50 witnesses and served more than 300 subpoenas. This extensive gathering of evidence points to a case that could have far-reaching consequences not just for Diddy, but for the entire music industry. In a development that sent shockwaves through celebrity circles, at least 2 new witnesses are reportedly cooperating with federal authorities. These individuals are said to be willing to testify before a grand jury about their interactions with Diddy, potentially providing crucial first-hand accounts of the alleged illegal activities. One of the most explosive elements of the case revolves around Diddy's infamous parties.
Talk about how he using drugs. He was never like that. Smoking cigarettes, smoking weed and everything like that. He turned into something that you could consider a monster, bro. He may have been doing a couple of things here and there with women, stuff like that in New York, but the things that there's talking about that he was doing, bringing in prostitutes to have sex with his girl and all that stuff like that, we know that to be true. And it's just this situation, man, when they get down to all the facts and all what happened, he may belong in jail, bruh.
Prosecutors are said to have evidence of hidden tapes from these events, recordings that could implicate other celebrities and significantly raise the stakes of the investigation. The existence of these tapes has sparked intense speculation about who might be caught up in the widening net of the inquiry. At the heart of the case is the accusation that Diddy used his wealth and influence as tools of control. Prosecutors allege that he employed financial manipulation and threats to coerce women into participating in illicit activities. To secure a conviction, they'll need to prove that Diddy exerted this control, turning what he claims were consensual encounters into criminal acts. While all eyes are on Diddy, a more troubling narrative is unfolding. What if his alleged crimes are symptoms of a deeper industry-wide sickness? His former bodyguard's testimony points to a startling possibility.
I don't believe that he's snitching on Diddy. He's just going by a plan or something that somebody laid out for him, that he got too deep into it. He never had a profit agreement. We know now that some of that stuff that Keefe D said, and we heard him state in his book and stuff like that, he just repeated a script. And I don't think he have any concrete proof. They don't have nothing concrete. Because if they had something concrete, they would have been brought Diddy in on it.
The music business itself might be the real culprit. The arrest of Sean Diddy Combs has sent shockwaves through the entertainment world, but it may be just the tip of a very dark iceberg. As investigators dig deeper into Diddy's past, they're uncovering a disturbing pattern of behavior that extends far beyond one man's actions. Diddy's former bodyguard has come forward with explosive claims that suggest the rap mogul's alleged crimes might be rooted in a toxic culture that permeates the entire music industry.
With drugs and all the stuff that's going on, pills, drinking, it can make this man into a monster, and that's what it did, bro. They was heavy into beating women and doing things at that age, at that crazy stage. That's gonna make him think that he could get away with the same thing that they was getting away with back then. He learned. I'm assuming he learned it from them. Let me put that. And I'm not gonna say alleged because I saw that for my own self. My man was with me, Slick was with me, and we saw that for our own self.
According to the bodyguard, Puff wasn't born a monster. He was made into a monster from the stuff that happened to him. This statement implies that Diddy's behavior was shaped by his experiences in the cutthroat world of music business. The bodyguard points to industry mentors like Clive Davis, Russell Simmons, and Andre Harrell as influential figures in Diddy's development, suggesting that the toxic environment of the industry itself played a significant role in molding Diddy's character. This revelation raises unsettling questions about the nature of success in the music world. If Diddy's actions are indeed a product of his environment, how many other industry figures might be caught up in the same cycle of abuse and exploitation? The bodyguard's testimony paints a picture of an industry where harmful behaviors are not just tolerated, but actively taught and perpetuated. The comparison of Diddy's case to that of Jeffrey Epstein is particularly chilling.
Some of that stuff may be in him through his childhood. Through his childhood, he may have some of that things in him, but a lot of things that he was doing was a learned behavior, bro. Their karma is so strong for what they do and what they did. The stuff that he did to Craig Mack. You understand what I'm saying? The stuff that he did to Black Rob. He go and transfer and do that to people with the fact of all these people that he's hurt, that always helped him and been on his side and been there for him. What's happening to him now?
Both men were known for their lavish parties and high-profile connections. Now, as allegations of exploitation and abuse surface, the similarities between their cases hint at a larger pattern of powerful figures using their influence to engage in illegal activities. Diddy's past behavior, once seen as the excesses of a successful mogul, is now under intense scrutiny. His open bragging about wild parties, once dismissed as harmless boasting, now takes on a sinister tone in light of the current allegations. Former associates are coming forward with claims that these events were far from innocent, describing a culture of exploitation and harm that went unchecked for years. Perhaps most disturbing is the suggestion that this behavior is learned and passed down through generations of industry insiders. The bodyguard emphasized that Diddy started doing the things to other people that was done to him.
You gotta realize, man, he learned from Andre Harrell. He learned from Russell Simmons. He learned from Clyde Davis. I personally feel like he got a lot of the things that he did from his mentor, and then he probably did it to the 10th power. You understand? The things that he was saying, you know, the touchy-feely between two men and all that stuff like that, man. All that, he learned that from them dudes.
Highlighting a cycle of abuse that may be deeply ingrained in the music business. This raises the question, how many other successful figures in the industry have been caught up in this same pattern? The mention of potential hidden tapes from Diddy's parties adds another layer of intrigue to the case. If these recordings exist, they could implicate other high-profile figures and potentially blow the lid off decades of industry secrets. The music world is holding its breath, wondering who else might be caught in the fallout if these tapes come to light.